Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? I'm getting this vlog started late today. It is like 7:30. I have been running around all day today and just now getting stuff uploaded. I just did a review video and I got a spot on my shirt, but I'm gonna do some laundry tonight. So I'm just like, oh well. I tried to wash it out and it wouldn't come out, so I'll just throw it in the wash. And hey, how was your trip? Did you guys go to Mackinac Island?
Very nice.
Is that where you went?
A lot cooler up there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did you get in the water?
No.
Did you stay at the Grand Hotel?
No.
Did you bike ride?
Oh yeah.
Did you have fudge?
I had fudge. Yeah.
So you did it all.
Caramel. We did it all.
Aw, he missed you while you were gone.
Was he around much?
Not too much, but a couple times, yeah. She walked him around the neighborhood and stuff.
Okay.
All right, it was good seeing you.
Yeah.
My neighbors just got back from vacation. What?
Happy birthday, late.
Oh, thank you. My neighbors just got back from being on vacation, so I think it was just like 2 days ago they got back or something. They went to Mackinac Island, and she was riding her bike around the neighborhood because she said they were taking their bikes to ride to Mackinac Island. All right, let me pull you guys in a little closer. So anyway, I got up today. I actually was going to go to bed early last night, and well, earlier, and I ended up staying up till like, I hate to move it because I'm afraid it'll make a noise. I ended up staying up till like 4:30 in the morning. I was watching a drag pageant on YouTube and eating cold pizza. And then I got up today and just did some stuff around the house. I was going to make videos. Caroline was picking me up in the afternoon, and so we were going to get together and do this video about our grandma, which in my mind, I had it being a lot more concise than it turned out to be. So we think we're going to do like several videos, like once we find out more about our grandma and our mom's history, like talking more about that in a video. Really more for us, I think, than anybody else. But I think it is interesting, you know, that we really don't know a whole lot about our family history. And I love watching documentaries like that where, you know, they find out all about like the stuff they didn't know about their family history at all. I love watching documentaries about that. I think it's really, really interesting. So Caroline came and picked me up, and well, I took a shower and did my hair and everything because I wanted to look nice for the video. So she came and picked me up, and then we ran some errands, and then we went to Target because I wanted to get these new cups that I heard were out. Like, I couldn't believe that they had them still, because, you know, usually Starbucks runs out of cups really quickly, and I think these came out like 2 weeks ago. You can't really see how pretty it is with the coffee in there, but here, let me cover it. You can kind of see it. It fades. It's like, it's, you know. I actually did a whole video on my Peter Review Stuff channel today showing all of the different cups I got and trying this, like, fruit puree thing that Caroline said was for kids or something. But anyway, so from there, we were going to go to Crumble Cookies and to the post office to pick up some stuff. But then Caroline was like, she had to get out of here by a certain time because she was showing a house. And so she was like, well, I could come back tomorrow for like an hour and I could, like, you know, run you around or whatever. And I was like, no, you don't have to do that. And she's like, I really don't mind. She was like, I love spending time with you. And so I was like, well, okay. So she's going to come back tomorrow. We're going to go to Crumble Cookies and then to the post office. I was worried that if I went to the post office and I had to pick up packages, sometimes there's a line that takes 30 to 40 minutes. And so if I did that, then we weren't going to be able to film the video, and I wanted to make sure that the video got filmed. So anyway, came back here, filmed the video. She hung out and talked to Little Dog for a little bit. And then she left, and then I filmed another video, which I don't really want to talk a whole lot about over here because I feel like I said what I needed to say in the drama video, but it was about a TikTok trend that is going around that I take huge issue with. I can't believe the battery just went already to the halfway mark. This is my old battery. And I looked up in my cabinet where I cleaned it out, and so I keep all of my office supplies and stuff up in there now. And I think I have like another 2 or 3 batteries that are brand new that I haven't used. So I just need to throw these batteries away. And I think you can recycle them at Best Buy, so I'll take them to Best Buy, and then I just need to start using another one of the new ones, and then I'll have 2 brand new ones. They last like an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. So I need to just start using that battery, because this battery, I just filmed my review video on it, and that was like 8 or 9 minutes long, and it's already at the halfway mark, so it's like 14 or 15 minutes. It's ridiculous. So came back here. Then I filmed that video for my Peter Monn channel. It's about addiction and recovery. And then what did I do next? Oh, then Alex came home, and he kind of just like hung out for a little bit downstairs. He heated up some pizza because he was hungry. And yeah, little dog already had some food, so he didn't need to be fed. And I think he took him outside when he came home. And now they're upstairs, and Alex is like looking on Instagram and TikTok and playing his game and stuff like that. He's relaxing. So I then filmed a review video, and now I am out here vlogging. And this is going to be a short vlog tonight because I want to hang out with Alex and just kind of catch up with him. We also have some shows I want to watch. I want to watch Beverly Hills. I want to watch... I need to get caught up on Dubai, even though I don't really love the Dubai. But I want to watch those. And Alex watched all of Loot last night, he said. I didn't know what he was watching, but I didn't know he was watching Loot. So today he was like, yeah, I watched all of the episodes of Loot, and I really liked it. So I want to watch a couple episodes of, what do you call it? Hacks. I think my episode of The Old Man also comes out today, the newest episode. And my episodes of Only Murders in the Building, I think it might come out on Mondays or Tuesdays. I already watched this week's episode. And then Loot comes out on Fridays, so I have that tomorrow. And then my sunflowers, I wanted to share this with you guys, that I was all excited about growing. I kicked it over again. Now look how much, there's like no soil in it at all. And I don't think there's any seeds left in here. And so half of this dirt is now on the ground over there, like on top of the mulch. But it's in an area where like the mulch is kind of turned to dirt a little bit. And so I started looking through for the seeds, and I thought, this is meant to not happen, I think. Because I've kicked it over so many times now. Like, because I'm on the porch, and I'm not paying attention, and I like kick it back, like with my leg, like when I'm walking. But I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe the seeds will just grow right there, and then like right on our walkway, we'll have just like this beautiful sunflower that'll grow. And it rained today. I couldn't believe it. We have been needing rain so bad, like in Indianapolis. Like, I was talking to Tanya about this the other night. She said the thunderstorm's going to really, this was last night, she said the thunderstorm's going to really hit. And I was like, do you think, because I could see like the black clouds. I was talking to her on the phone when I was sitting here. And I was like, do you think I could see the black clouds? But it seemed like it was kind of going past. And she's like, well, we need it. And I was talking to my friend Valerie about that too. Like, we really need the rain. It's bad. And it was supposed to thunderstorm Tuesday, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it's looked like it was going to, but it just passes on by. I mean, we really need like some steady rain. Even like our hostas, which never die, like they're not doing real well up here. I need to just break out the hose and water around them. So, yep, just gonna relax tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner because like Alex already ate his leftover pizza. I devoured my leftover pizza last night watching that drag pageant. So I'm probably make little cheese sandwiches and have chips and dip. I was thinking about actually making one of my Trader Joe's like mac and cheeses because I love those. So I might have one of those. That's filling. I'll get like real full off of all of that and won't need to eat anything else probably. I do have a bag of peanut butter M&Ms that I didn't know that I had because they were in my like messenger bag from when we went to go see Jurassic Park. And like when I reach into my bag, they were like in the bottom of the back, like in the back and the bottom of the messenger bag. When I reach in there, I get like my reading glasses out or like my wallet or my sunglasses. And so I don't really like dig in it. And it's, you know, it's pretty big. And so it's like this canvas messenger bag that I have. I didn't realize they were in there. Well, I was like changing purses the other day when I can't remember what I was doing. Maybe it was Alex's mom's. maybe it was her. No, because that would have been the very next day, and it was like days after that I realized it. I can't remember, but anyway, I was going through stuff, and I think it was maybe. No, it wouldn't have been Sunday. I feel like it was Monday or Tuesday. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I was just going to take my wallet and my reading glasses somewhere. I wasn't going to take my bag, because sometimes I do that. And maybe it was when I went to my meeting on Tuesday, and I was like looking to see what stuff I needed, because I didn't want it, like, it seemed real bulky. And so I was going through it, and I found, I think it was Tuesday night, and I found these M&Ms in there. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I still have these M&Ms. So I saved them, because, you know, sometimes I get a sweet tooth for when I get real hungry for like sweets, and then I can break those out and I can have those peanut butter M&Ms, which is usually late at night, which is not good. I also have lemon tarts. They're like these little, they're real small. They're like this big, these little lemon tarts. They look like little pies that I bought at Trader Joe's. Oh my God, they're so good. And I keep those in the refrigerator so they're cold. And then I also bought the salted caramel. I don't know what I was thinking when I went to Trader Joe's. I bought all kinds of stuff. I bought salted caramel cookies, and then I also bought, I don't know why I thought this sounded good, but they are so good, you guys. Strawberry no-bake cookies. Now, I like the peanut butter no-bake cookies, and I like the chocolate no-bake cookies, kind of. I like the peanut butter ones more. But I bought these strawberry ones because I had never heard of that before. They kind of taste like strawberry Ovaltine a little bit. Do you guys remember strawberry Ovaltine or strawberry milk from back in the day? Obviously, because they're strawberry, but like, they're not like a strong strawberry fruit flavor. They're more of like a creamy strawberry flavor. So I have those in there too if I need something sweet. And I also have like 2 bags of chips and 2 containers of dip. I need to get rid of this stuff because I said I was going to start eating better after 4th of July, but that hasn't happened yet. So I need to get rid of that stuff, and then I need to I also need to go down into the basement and spend like a half an hour in the basement tonight and this whole weekend, and start working on that, because I made the commitment that I was going to do it, and I'm going to do that. So I need to start getting that done. People have mentioned to me that like I need to do like decluttering videos of the basement. I don't know what you're imagining the basement to look like, and I'm not going to show it on video until it's done, just because that's... I feel like I share so much of my life that I'm going to keep the basement to myself until it's done. That's kind of like my little thing down there. But anyway, but when you walk in, like when you open the door to the basement, it's like our washer and dryer are right to the right. And then we have like an ironing board, but the ironing board is completely like, has tons of clothes. We have like a laundry basket on our ironing board that's filled with clothes, and then it's like I have all these t-shirts and jeans and shorts and stuff that are on there because I just wash them and then I fold them and then I put them over there, because my closet is filled with clothes that I don't wear, which makes absolutely no sense. I know I need to clean out my closet as well. And then we have a hanging rack. It has a bunch of shirts and coats on it, and then we have like 2 laundry baskets under the hanging rack, and then behind the hanging rack is like the furnace and the air conditioner, and then on the other side of that is like the basement, and to the left is like where we keep our suitcases, and then behind all that is like Christmas stuff, boxes of stuff of my mom's from when I was a kid, from when she was a kid, stuff that she had saved through the years, which I just need to throw away and pitch. I don't need anymore. And then there's like this curio cabinet. Well, it's a barrister's cabinet is what it is. Like an old barrister's cabinet that my parents had as a bookshelf. I kind of am like real hesitant to get rid of it because it's like an authentic antique, but it's not something that Alex and I would have in our house. So I don't know, I'll probably put it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. I also have down there an old like colonial school desk that like has the fold out seat in front of it, and it has the thing underneath it that you keep. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like an old like colonial type that my mom got so that I could play school in the basement, but we've had it ever since. Alex and I actually have it next to the washer and dryer, and it's what holds all of our detergent and stuff. And then there's a huge metal desk that my dad had like in the house, but my mom used because they got divorced and he just left it. It's a huge desk, metal desk, and then behind it is like where my mom would type. She had her typewriter and stuff on it, and it's all cement walls. It's not finished, and cement floors. The desk is covered in books, and those were the books that I wanted to keep. And I think I'm just gonna go through them and be like, and just like donate like 95% of them, because I'm just not reading that much anyway, and it's like it just needs to be cleared out. And then behind there, I have probably 10 plus, 20 maybe, I don't know, boxes of books that are already boxed and need to be taken. Then to the right of that is this L-shaped couch that we had in our TV room that has a pull-out couch on it. And then there's this round slate and wood table that has my pictures and VCR tapes and cassette tapes and DVDs and CDs and everything from when I was in high school, and all that's all the memory stuff that I kind of just put over there. Pictures. I have a huge plastic container just of all just pictures of all kinds of stuff from me growing up, and I need to go through all of that and just start getting rid of it. Like, there's so much that I could just get rid of, like Christmas stuff that we don't use, and I mean, I haven't used since my previous relationship or two, and when I was growing up as a kid. I don't want to throw, like, all the ornaments out from when I was a kid, just in case I care someday, but there's really not that many of them that mean that much to me. I'm kind of in this cleaning mode of, like, getting rid of stuff, so I just need to go down there and just do it, is the deal. That's the deal. We need to do the deal. So hopefully by July I'll get my goal at first is to get a lot of the major pieces out, like the big things that are down there, and get rid of them, and then after that, yeah, I don't know, just like start going through the smaller stuff when all of the big stuff is gone, you know. I don't really know what to do with the books because Alex and I mean, he's like, I told you I would haul it away and help. But I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I can't carry those boxes with my back, and that's a lot of boxes for him to put in and take to Half Price Books or the library or donation center. I know where there are a couple book donation centers. Actually, somebody commented on my vlog and they said you need to call Goodwill before you take stuff over there because they're so backed up from the lockdown and stuff that they're only taking certain things. So I didn't know that they're only taking like higher end things. But there's a lot of different places in town that you can like donate clothes to, and I mean, the clothes are all clean and they've been clean and folded and stuff like that I would donate. So I need to do that. Between my closet, the kitchen cabinet that I have to do, and the basement, it's probably a pretty the thing is, when I get down in the basement and I start working on it, I kind of don't stop for like several hours. And I start looking at stuff and reading stuff and whatever. But it's kind of it's going to be this continuous process for probably a month or two. If I worked on it pretty diligently for a half an hour every night, definitely could have it done by the middle of August, I think, even before then. So, fingers crossed. And I can do that when Alex goes to sleep at night. I could listen to my audiobook while I'm doing that. I think a couple people have mentioned that on here. So, yeah. For those of you out there that are sound sensitive and don't like cracking knuckles, I apologize. I can remember I believed for years that cracking your knuckles was bad for your hands. And I remember saying that to my dad one time. My dad he was a plastic surgeon, but his area of specialty was hand reconstruction, and he actually did, like, you know, probably, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of carpal tunnel surgeries. And in fact, one of my really good friends, his mom had gone to my dad for carpal tunnel surgery on one of her hands, and she wanted to go back to him like right before he retired to get the other hand done, and she was like, his dad was like phenomenal, like my hand is like literally back to normal. But I can remember saying that to my dad, something like and we didn't even know, like at that time, like his mom didn't even know that like my dad was she hadn't connected the pieces. But anyway, I can remember saying to my dad something about cracking your knuckles is like will lead to like arthritis or something. He was like, there's absolutely no truth to that whatsoever. So also, like swallowing your gum, I can remember my dad was like, it'll just come out with the rest of everything else. Like, it's probably not good for you, but gum is probably not good for you, period. And but you know, the only thing I can remember my dad like kind of freaking out about was I remember when I was like in my early 20s, this was after I was sober, I was with my first boyfriend, and I was chewing a caramel apple. And if you've had braces, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but behind these teeth right here, sometimes they put a permanent retainer that's like a piece of metal like that long, and it just stays there to hold your teeth, like the bottom of the teeth in place. And I had it there, and they had never removed it from me. And I can remember like going to my dentist, and he was like, "We'll probably just leave it in there, you know, for a long time. Like they may never take, you know, we may never take it out." And I was eating a caramel apple, which I was always very hesitant to like eat, you know, anything, any hard candy, caramel apples, caramel apples. I know in Indiana we call them caramel or whatever, because of this wire. I was always like freaked out about this wire. And I was eating this, I can see it. I can see myself sitting in this chair eating this caramel apple, and it came off, and I must have swallowed it. And I called my dad, and I just was like, I know this is probably like not any big deal, but like I swallowed this wire. And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, you know, the wire that I have behind my teeth, like my stepmom had one too. And so I was like, the one that, you know, she has is behind my teeth. That's like this, you know, permanent retainer. I think it was my stepmom that had one. But anyway, he knew somebody that had one. And I like said, you know, like this thing that they have. And it might not have been her. I don't know who. But anyway. And he goes, "What do you mean you swallowed it?" And I go, "Well, I was eating this caramel apple, and it like popped off, and I like swallowed it, I think, because I didn't see it come out of my mouth, and it's not there anymore." And I was like, "I'm sure it's not that big of a deal, Dad," or whatever. And he was like, "It's a huge deal." And he goes, "And you need to get to the emergency room immediately." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You need to have like x-rays done, because that could puncture like your intestines and things like going out of it. That's really, really dangerous." And I was like, "Oh my God." And he was like, "You know, this could happen." And he was like, my dad with me when I was growing up, and anything to do with sickness, like he always was like, I remember my dad and my stepmom and I were coming back from London, and there had been threats, like bomb threats on planes, and they had not narrowed it down, but there was only like, this battery is dying, hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. But anyway, my new battery is not fully charged yet. I was going to put it in here, but it takes longer to charge. So anyway, we were coming back, and we had been in England for Christmas, and I think it was my stepmom's birthday. I don't remember which day, but I feel like it was either her birthday or around her birthday or something, because she said something about this. So like we checked into the gate, or checked in or whatever, and they said, "We have to warn you." I don't know what airline it was, Delta or something. And they said, "We have to like, you know, warn you that there's been a threat on a plane going towards, you know, New York City or something, leaving from this specific airport." I think we were leaving out of Gatwick. And my dad said, "Okay." And they're like, "So we only have like," it was that airline, and like there were let's say if there were like 10 airplanes or something that were leaving that day, they had decided that they were going to only let like 2 go or something, and that if you didn't want to go that day, you didn't have to go, and they would like completely give you like a free trip and put you up in a hotel room and all this kind of stuff. And my dad was like, "We're not afraid to die." I remember him, I can see him standing there, and he said, "We're not afraid to die." And I remember my stepmom said something, and she was like, "It's my birthday." Like, you know, he goes, "Well, I mean, we're not afraid to die, even if it's your birthday." And so we got on the plane. They like bumped us to like business class or first class or something like that. There was like nobody on this plane. I mean, it was us and like 10 other people or 5. I mean, it was like, I can remember it was like really empty. And so I was sitting there, and my dad still tells this story. He thinks it's funny. So I was sitting there next to my dad, and, you know, we're like taking off. And I said to my dad something about whatever kind of like, you know, situation it would be. I said, "So would it just be like, it would just go off and then we would have like no clue about it whatsoever?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Now, mind you, I'm like 15 or 16 at the time. And I said, like, it would just go off, and like our life would like be over, and we wouldn't know anything, right? Because I was like, I don't want to know anything about it. And he was like, "No, that wouldn't happen." He was like, "It would probably, what they'll do is it'll go off when it hits a certain altitude, and it'll be at the back of the plane, and it'll be like a fireball that rushes forward." I was like, why are you telling me this? And we're in the air right now. My dad is like one of the most fearless people I've ever met in my entire life. Like, he is completely fearless about so many, like, well, I can't think of one thing that he was afraid of. Other than, I think, like, horrible stuff happening to me when I was out there using. Which is kind-hearted when you think about it. But, like, as far as, like, situational stuff, like, no, not afraid of things at all. I don't know how you get to that point. Like, maybe it's because of my mom. Like, Caroline and I were talking about my mom being so full of fear today. And I think it, like, this is part of why it is interesting to me to know about my mom's history a little bit, is because there's so much that I don't know. But my mom was this person that was, like, very, very fearful. And it wasn't just about, like, living in a big house, you know, all alone in the woods, and so she would drink. It wasn't just that. Like, it came from deep inside. I mean, she had been that way for a very long time. I do remember, you know, she would say things like when she was at IU, and, like, they would go to Miami of Ohio, and they would, like, go to, like, meet up with the boys on the weekend and whatever. And she was like, I was the one that drove on the interstates. I was the one that, you know, like, it was my car and I drove and whatever. Hey, how are you? And she'd say, I don't really know what happened to me other than, like, I got married and I became this wife and I became very dependent upon your dad. And so she would say, like, I feel like that's what happened. And then all of a sudden I wasn't my own person anymore and I was afraid to drive at night. She also was, like, really, really night blind. Like, she couldn't see at night at all. I mean, she would, like, drive like this. And I don't think I really ever realized how bad it was for her, like, with the night blindness. I was telling somebody the other day that, like, my mom, to go from our neighborhood here where my aunt and uncle lived to where we lived, like, was a straight shoot. Well, if you live in Indianapolis, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a straight shoot down Keystone, like, which is, it's kind of a highway. I mean, now it really is turning into a highway. It would take you probably 10, maybe 15 minutes to get from one house to the other. My mom would go through all of these different neighborhoods. Like, she would weave through these she would go through this area over by Old Navy that, like, you would go around, and then she would go through to, like, Hazeldale or Gray Road, and then she would come up 116th Street, and she would go all the way. You know, she would take this, she would go through H.H. Gregg, and then she would go to where, like, Lakeshore Drive was, and then she would cut through all of these side streets. I mean, like, neighborhood streets. I mean, it would take us like a half an hour to get home, 45 minutes. And she was really, really scared. She didn't like to drive at all. It was funny because Alex and I, we were coming home from, I think it was from a marriage counseling appointment last, and he said something about something you're supposed to keep in the trunk of your car because in case, like, your car dies on the side of the road or whatever. And I said, you know what is so funny about that? I said, is that my mom, like, I'm sure till the day she died, she had it in the trunk of her car. I honestly don't remember because I ended up selling my mom's car to Caroline's stepson for $1. You know how you can do that anyway. It wasn't worth anything anyway, but she did like that car. It was a Saturn. But I don't remember what she had in the trunk of that car, but I do remember that she had in the trunk of her other car. She had this Nissan Maxima that she drove, like, until the ground. She drove into the ground. She had it for like 17 or 18 years. She was proud of the fact that she kept it that long. It was all rusted out and everything. And in her trunk of her car, she would keep, like, a fire starter log, and then she would keep, like, wool mittens, a wool blanket, like, I'm talking army blanket, you know, a full parka, canned food probably. I mean, all kinds of stuff. She had this, I mean, her whole trunk of her car was all loaded down with this stuff. And I'd be like, Mom, why do you have all this junk in the back of your car? And she'd be like, well, I mean, in case you, like, are in a blizzard and you can't, like, you have to pull over the side of the road and you have to survive. And I'm like, you only ever drive 2 or 3 blocks anyway. Which towards her, when she got sober, it was a little bit better, but she still was really night blind. The 2 things she would drive for were, I look back on this, I think it's so funny, meetings. She drove all over the place for meetings. And cigarettes. because she didn't want to pay full price for cigarettes, so she smoked Mavericks. And she would drive like this was before you could get like generics at any kind of gas station. So she would drive like 5 miles out of the way or 10 miles out of the way just to get a pack of Mavericks. And I'd say, all the money that you're spending on gas to drive there to get this pack of cigarettes. And she was like, what? I mean, like she acted like, no, but you know, anyway. I'm like in my head, like, should I share this story or not? But, you know, like for her birthday or whatever, you know, when I took her places, like if we went to the casino, I'd buy her a pack of like Marlboro Lights, you know, and she'd always get like such a kick out of it. She'd be like, because I would say, you know, like if you're going to smoke something, Mom, smoke something that you like. Because she would say, I don't even like these cigarettes, but they're the cheapest on the market, so I'm going to smoke them. So I would get her like a pack of like Marlboro Lights or whatever, you know, big woo. And she would, first of all, she would say, oh my God, that was so nice of you. Thank you so much. And then she would go into this whole thing about how bad she felt that her son was, I mean, I'm like in my 30s, right? And she'd talk about how bad she felt that her son was buying her cigarettes and that was weird and gross and disgusting. That I should know. And I'd just be like, just smoke the cigarettes if you're going to smoke. Hell, she only ever smoked a cigarette or two a night anyway by that point. She would get a pack of cigarettes and she would put on them like the date that she bought them to see how long she could make a pack of cigarettes last. Because she could make a pack of cigarettes last like 2 weeks. And I would call her, like she would watch the movie from 9 to 11. And I would always call like right before 11 and she'd say, I want to watch the last 5. I mean, it'd be some movie she had seen 5 times already anyway, you know. And she'd say, you know, let me watch this last movie. It's with Gina Davis. I love it. You know, it's Tootsie or something like that. I want to watch the last 5 minutes of Tootsie. And I'd be okay. And then I would call her while she was like in the background. She usually would want to wait and watch like the evening local news from 11 to 11:30. So we would talk after that. But sometimes we would talk during the news every night. And she would like save a cigarette. She would have like a cigarette, I think during the news or during the movie, and then like one she was talking to me on the phone. And she'd always say, I feel so bad that I'm smoking a cigarette while I'm talking to my son on the phone. But she had for years like said, if I could get down to just smoking 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, like I would be fine with that, which she did. But then she also said that her doctor had told her, or maybe my dad or something, that like had always told her that even if you're still smoking 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, it's like it doesn't equal quitting because your lungs are never really repairing. So you have to like completely quit. It was funny because I was talking to my neighbor across the street. He said something about smoking and I was like, I would never have guessed you as a smoker. And he said, oh yeah, I smoked for like 25 years. And he was like, until I met her. And then she said, I would love to marry you, but not if you're going to continue to smoke. And he goes, you know, the funny thing is, he said that, I think he said something about like one of his parents like had smoked too. And so at that time he was like, oh, the people are going to tell me that everything tastes better and smells better and whatever. And I said, so does it? Because he was referencing like his parent had felt the same way as him. And he goes, not one bit. He said, nothing ever improved. Like the taste didn't improve, the smells didn't improve or anything. And you know what is so funny about that is that my Uncle Dave smoked, my aunt and uncle smoked. My aunt every once in a while, like she'd be like, she would have a funeral cigarette. I've talked about that on here before. You know, every once in a while she'd have like half a cigarette. But not, I mean like maybe once every 6 months or something like that. But I can remember asking my uncle, he quit when I like around the time I got sober. So if I got sober when I was 22 and a half, almost 23, he probably stopped smoking. Well, that would have been the case because 6 months later is when he had his heart attack, and I know he wasn't smoking after that. So, because he like quit everything. After a while, I think like doctors recommended like maybe having like a glass of wine or something, so he would maybe have like a little bit of wine a night or something like that, or every couple nights. But he never really was a big drinker again after that. This is Caroline's dad. And never smoked after that. And I can remember he and my aunt both kind of quit. So you're talking at that point, you know, 25 plus years. And I remember asking my uncle one time, I said, was it hard to quit? And he said, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I said, and like, do you feel better inside? Like, do you miss it? Or he goes, oh, I miss it every day. And no, like, my taste did not improve and my smell did not improve. And he was like, I miss it every single day. So birds are so pretty tonight, aren't they? I miss just talking with my mom, you know. It's fun driving around with Caroline and talking, and you know, Caroline knows, like, if I bring up somebody, this is the one thing about like having Caroline in my life, like Caroline knows at least the names of my friends from the past, that if I mention somebody, she's like, okay, like she knows the reference point, even though she may not have known them really well. But like from our childhood, like people that were like around us in our childhood, like my aunt always brought like we used to call them strays, but she would bring like people, like older ladies that she knew that didn't have any family. She would bring them over to her house for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and so there'd always be like one extra with our family. And there was this one woman that she would bring. She brought around for like 2 or 3 years, and she wasn't very nice. She was like mean to Caroline and I. And I have to ask Caroline what her name is. I can't remember. If I thought hard enough and wiggled my toes, I could remember. And then there was this other woman that she brought around. Something just real weird happened to my ears. It was like ringing in this ear, then all of a sudden it just like shot to that ear. But she brought this woman around for a long time, a couple years. Her name was Hazel. I do remember her. And she used to crochet these amazing Afghans. And I remember my mom and I came to her apartment, and she was going to give us this Afghan, and she had it all wrapped, and she made everybody these Afghans for presents, because I remember she asked us like our favorite colors. I remember going to her apartment. It was like at Christmas time, my mom and I went, and she had this little table by the door, like a little like what do you call it, like card table, and then it had like this what do you call it? It had like a tablecloth on it. And on there she had like this 2-foot tree. And I just remember leaving there and I thought, how sad is this? Like, I don't want to ever end up with just this little tree at Christmas time. Like, I don't know why it made me so sad, but I can remember as a kid thinking this is just such a sad existence, right? Which is so funny because now, like, I never want to put up a big Christmas tree. I just want to put up that little Charlie Brown Christmas. Well, I have a Charlie Brown Christmas tree in the basement, of course, but in the basement. Everything's in the basement. But no, like the tree that we have that's like, that Tanya and I got, that's like 2.5 feet, that I put by the fireplace. But it doesn't make me sad. It's just enough. And the front porch, like when I come home and it's like all of this Christmas stuff, makes me so happy. But isn't that weird how, or interesting, like how looking at things from different perspectives or different ages, you know, it's like I can remember being in my youth and reading like Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And my mom had loved that book in her youth, and she really pushed it on me to read, like when I was in high school and stuff. All of the Salinger books, you know. Franny and Zoe, Raise High, The Roof Beam Carpenters, all of them. She loved J.D. Salinger. But then as she got older, I can remember like talking to my mom about it and how much that book had resonated with me. And she'd say, you know, it kind of makes your old mom sad a little bit. And music would do this with her too. Like Judy Collins, especially, and Joni Mitchell, and you know, Bob Dylan. She just wouldn't want to really listen to it as much anymore. Fleetwood Mac, she would like all of it. Woody Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie. She'd say it just kind of makes mom sad, you know, to listen to that. And what's interesting is I read Catcher in the Rye again a couple years ago. I think we read it for the first year of the book club. No, we read Franny and Zoe, and it really did make me sad. Like, I don't know, it didn't. It wasn't like how I felt about it, like in my youth. And we also read, or maybe I just read it, but I feel like it was for the book club, She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb. I loved that book when I first read it. Like, it just blew me away. Well, the book is really about loss and grieving and changing through loss and aging. And the main character ages. I mean, she's like 5 or 6 when the book starts, and it goes all the way through to like when she's in her 40s or late 30s, early 40s. And so when I read that book, I was closer to her in age. And having read that book first time when I was in my 20s, I can remember being in Cancun and reading that book. and not even wanting to leave the hotel room. It was so fantastic. And then now, being like in my, well, now I'm in my 50s, but at that time in my 40s, the book rang different. It just felt different to me, And I don't want to look at things, books, movies, songs, with sadness. Like, I don't want to watch them and have this overwhelming amount of sadness. And so I do kind of understand my mom, like, not wanting to listen to the same music or not wanting to read the same books, because it's like, why would you purposely do things? Well, I think for me, okay. Sometimes when I feel like I need to get the sadness out or I need to grieve are times that I will purposely put on sad stuff, sad music or whatever, but just to kind of get that out. But if it's something like, if I'm just having a happy day and I'm listening to sad music, what's the point? I don't know. I just don't want to be that sad, And I think, like, I was talking about this with some of my friends the other night at the meeting afterwards. It's like, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be angry. Those aren't feelings that I like to feel. I don't want to be resentful. I don't want to be pissed off. I don't want to be miserable and self-defeating. I don't want to stay stuck in those feelings. And so if I know that I need to get it out, like sad music or a sad movie for me, or a movie that like pulls emotion, sometimes helps me do that. But then I move on from that. Like, I don't want to stay stuck in it. I have the ability to be able to stay stuck in anger, resentment, sadness, and misery. I just do. I've done it periods in my life where it's just woe is me. Pour me another drink. And I don't want to be in that position. I want to live my life and be happy, joyous, and free. I want to be an example of that to other people. And no, we're not going to be happy, joyous, and free 24 hours a day. But I have tools and skills today to get out of that. So I get when my mom said, like, in her 40s and 50s, like, I don't want to, like, this stuff makes me sad. I mean, there's enough out there in the world that makes me sad that I don't need to work harder at that today, I think, is the thing, So, let's be happy. Be happy. Don't worry. Do you guys remember that song from back in the day? Do you remember that song, Kokomo? Way down in Kokomo. Which I always thought was funny because it's a city about a half an hour north from here. And it's not Kokomo like in the Florida Keys. It's not that kind of Kokomo. It's like, I think the Chrysler plant is there. I actually know quite a few people from Kokomo. So anyway. Alright, you guys, I'm going to get off here now and I'm going to get this uploaded. And I'm just going to make a real quick exit and say I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully with a little bit of a longer vlog. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. I love you and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!